Welcome to Tekedia Daily. I'm Ndubuisi Ekekwe. A conversation today will focus on hardware startups in Africa. Of course, you have been seeing that in the African continent, we continue to see a very positive trajectory in the number of companies which are being funded by venture capitalists across the globe. And if you look at the funding, it's largely to software companies. You see funding to fintech. You also see companies that are focusing on data. Yeah, it's typical. Hardware, they say, is not just easy. And most times, companies do not necessarily want to put their capital at risk by funding hardware companies, especially in places where we have not had very good traction that we can actually make them sell at scale. But if you also look at software, what is really happening here is that software is not necessarily that easy. You know, every software company, especially when it delivered across the globe, is competing at the global level when it's delivered on the internet. So if that software is put on the web, it's now bounded the distribution channel. It's now constrained the distribution channel. It means that any global company can compete with it theoretically. So in the age of platforms like Google, Facebook, Instagram, and WeChat, we are going to see that even local software companies delivered through the web are not going to see that level of separation they had expected because they are local entities. So it's not going to be that easy. And I do believe vividly that bringing an interface of hardware can actually create that necessary separation which these companies need for them to thrive. And if you look across different industrial sectors in Africa, you see that we have a lot of market frictions, things that need to be solved, things that need to be fixed. But one of the easiest way we continue to relate with those challenges, one of the easiest remains the fact that we use our phone. And then when I say phone here, we're talking about smartphone with an extension of the smartwatch, which remains not well diffused in the African economies. So the primary thing really here is phone, and that is the main sensor. But that has a lot of limitation. When you go into healthcare, when you go to agriculture, when you go to transportation, you go to energy, we just have to build devices, physical devices, for us to have the capacity of gathering data that we can now process and manipulate to make better sense of what is happening in the ecosystem so that we can build better and more capable systems that can help us fix market frictions. So the challenges of making hardware and building a hardware business is very obvious. And we have the talent issue. The universities don't have electricity, so there's no way they can even have a very good hardware business. And they talk of having infrastructure. How are you going to go into 3D modeling, printing, when you don't even have the places where you can do them? It's also very difficult because of market structures. It's just extremely challenging to move physical things. You don't have good electricity, you don't have good Redmond networks. These are issues. And of course, hardware companies take time for you to get into that maturity because there is a latency for you to get into the profitability model. And you need a lot of capital because sometimes you have to make the devices. You have to make the devices before you start selling them, unlike software. So at the end of the day, there is no hacking here. You need to understand how those signals move, and you need to find a solution to them. There are a lot of reasons, of course, but the fact remains the easiest way is software. But if you go around the globe, you see that most platforms are understanding that hardware provides a differentiation. Amazon could have done very well with this ebook without having created Kindle. Of course, he could have relied on phones, but he went with Kindle. And then he's got into the business of Alexa. He can also rely on phones, but he went for Ego. And the same thing with Google Assistant, boss, and then Piezo. Of course, Snap is trying to get into spectacle. What is happening here that these companies are using hardware to create differentiation. And they use that hardware in order to package an exclusive software, which they can now command premium or exclusivity, helping them to create a moat. Amazon wouldn't have created the modes it enjoys today in ebooks if it had relied on phones made by Apple, made by Google Android, or even Microsoft. So hardware offers a competitive advantage. And that is the reason why I believe vividly that very soon Google may buy Fitbit or Microsoft may buy Fitbit. And just like Facebook is trying all the best to go into Oculus, the VR solution, you can see that these companies are doing everything possible to get their hands on hardware. So the market's frictions we have in Africa will require an interface of hardware for us to actually deliver that software at scale. They said that software will eat the world, but I believe that the food will be prepared by hardware. If the hardware does not prepare the food, software will not have anyone to eat. So if you look all those frictions, energy, agriculture, health, transportation, there are going to be opportunities, and you cannot fix them with software alone. As IoT advances, connectivity through broadband advances, cloud computing, we are going to have an era of hardware. Get into the game. This is the time to be there. You are listening to Tekedia Daily.